Alright, 14 down, 1 to go.
I hear that ZORFLAX fellow is here on stream punching babies.
Oh,
Where,
how dare
What
they?
did I just walk into?
You don't need
Welcome to week
context.
15.
Where we're punching babies, apparently.
Yeah, you don't need context for that one.
Oh, hell yeah. Am I here in time for the baby punching? Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Right on time.
And suddenly your stream vanishes from Twitch. That's a shame.
How unfortunate.
Yeah, when Madmaster said there was one solve that might get me banned from Twitch, he meant the baby punching one. Well, boy, alright, 1 minute to go. Actually, no, there it is, 9:59 just ticked over, so no last minute solves this week. Don't have to do
I'm excited to see them all.
Sorry?
I'm just excited to see them all. They're gonna be crazy.
It's kind of funny, this was the 1 week where absolutely no one was spamming submissions. So like the submission list itself never looked that impressive, but we've got a lot of submitters.
I imagine that all of the teams also sort of disbanded to get a number of solves in instead of one for the team.
Yeah, I think technically the only team that did not disband this week was Morse Technologies. Other than that, no, I don't think I don't have any teams at all listed.
So, are the solves sorted in any way?
Alphabetically, just like last year.
Ah, okay. Alright. If there wasn't a sorting already, I was going to suggest the inverse of sum 4, so we keep getting bigger.
Yes, good.
Yeah, well, the alphabet, I think just to like, to try and not like bias anyone with the ordering of the numbers, we'll keep it alphabetically. Also, that means my solve gets to go last, so I get to cheat by advancing
ZORFLAX, the alphabetically challenged.
Alright, 10 o'clock is ticked over. Let's see if we have everything. We'll be starting with aesthetics, by the way.
Good choice, good.
Both of my solutions had aspects of both categories, and I guessed which one would fit better for which, but like, you're warned.
Which category got more submissions, or did everyone submit for both categories?
More people submitted for aesthetic, but it wasn't particularly one-sided. I think there were 4 people who submitted shitposts only and 5 people who submitted aesthetic only.
That's a good balance.
Hmm.
How many submissions total across both metrics?
Across both metrics, 27, I think.
Oh, so that's actually not such a good balance, because that means that there's like only 13 submitters in each category.
Oh no, I must have miscounted. 25. There's about 20-ish in both categories.
Oh, in both okay, so it's a total of like 50 solves we're going to be looking at tonight.
About, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Ah, okay. Alright. Welcome, dear people, to the Opus Magnum Weeklies 2022. How you doing, Madmaster? It is our final week The finale puzzle, Icelandic lava salt. This absolute behemoth of a puzzle was, as I'm sure people have guessed by now, my idea, because no one else was ever going to come up with an idea this stupid and go, haha, that's funny, let's try that. That along with the shitpost idea.
Yeah, I think Stabilized Everything had a lot more to do. This one really lets you focus completely on your ideas.
Yeah, I know there were a couple of, like, half-hearted concerns, I know, by, like, Shadow Cluster and one other person, maybe, that, the complete lack of challenge would hurt the aesthetic and shitpost categories, because there is no challenge. But if I think back to Stabilized Everything, there's only, like, a couple of solves that really went that route with, like, an honest optimization thing, but everyone else just did what they wanted, so, like, I never saw the problem in conception, and I presented it to everyone. Everyone's like, oh yeah, alright. I don't actually see a problem with this. And, yeah, looking at the submission list, I don't think it was a problem for anyone else.
It was less such a problem and more that I am not a very creative person, and so, like, there was no, like, I don't know, if you're making something like flake salt, right? You can try and, like, there's some process which you can try and make pretty, but here, what am I supposed to make pretty?
But Icelandic lava salt is more expensive than flake salt.
Is it?
Yeah, I actually I was googling, like, expensive salts, and I picked the one with the coolest sounding name.
That's cool. That's actually really cool. It reminds me of the one puzzle from old Space Camera that, like, create the best profit, make your inputs and outputs, and then just make the most profitable machine.
Alright.
Puzzle lore.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had some actual lore to go with this, but it was a bit of a shitpost puzzle, so I was only kind of saddened by the lack of lore. Anyway, we have quite a few solves to go through. To start off with, it's alphabetically sorted, but we are going to start with 42 Genius 42 as the only submitter with a number at the front of the name. We're going to start off nice and easy with a one height solve.
The Critelli placement, optimal.
Yeah, it's not getting better than that.
The symmetric pistons and the timing on them, very, very nice. I like this. I like how this looks.
Lots of symmetry.
Yeah, it was kind of... Yeah, because the metric itself is the aesthetic metric, but there is no guidance beyond that one word, aesthetic, so kind of means different things to different people. Like, yeah, you could take, like, a more traditional route by having everything nice and symmetric and neatly organized and just looks nice and like clockwork, or you could do something really weird and messed up. World's your oyster.
Did you look at any of the solves beforehand, or are you just as blind as all of us are?
I'm the only one that's not coming in blind. I've seen, like, I want to say a third of the solves. I basically tested out the ones that looked like they might break my computer.
You'll be pleased to know that all of my salts have a finite area at infinity.
Yeah, these, yeah, it's kind of nice that we're starting off so small here, because these are going to get a little overwhelming in terms of size. So we've got a bit of progression going, which is nice. Alright, next up, funnily enough, our only other min height solve, which was submitted by Alienate Me.
Actually correcting the chirality. Good job.
Chirality
True.
corrected.
This is the right way of doing it, I think, maybe.
Oh no!
Except for that part. We pretend that doesn't happen.
Oh, I didn't notice. It's got some overlap going on.
Yeah, you can't actually reach as far as you need to without overlapping.
Yeah.
Are there any
Sorry.
go on. Are there any mods which make it have infinitely long pistons yet?
There is a mod that lets you have infinitely long pistons. It is not very good because you cannot easily pick the piston back up when you place it, and you can only start it at length 1, 2, and 3. But other than that, there is one. It's floating around somewhere. I think it's called additional parts.
It's probably this solution's probably also a good introduction to the idea that basically speaking, cheating and glitches were allowed. The only thing that was not allowed was like other mods. But other than that, you could basically do whatever you want in either category. Although I do like the glitched category that we did last year. Might bring that back in future years or something. Who knows? Alright. Let's move on to something a little meatier. Next up alphabetically is Biggie Mac.
Hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, he's alright.
So, the idea of this solution is that I left myself a budget of 69 trackless instructions to make something that used as many wands as possible. So, this machine will reach a steady state, but it gets there by like kind of building up in progression the whole way. So it first like fills that 1/6 arm, and then the same instructions start to move atoms through it, and then it builds up a tri-arm that now has ones that moves things to another arm that now gets its ones. There's a piston that ends up grabbing onto a full ring of atoms as a wand and uses it to progress things. Then once the atoms have actually reached the full cycle, they create a feedback loop. And it does eventually reach a steady state in which there's an output made each 3 times there's something tested for output, but it takes a little bit to do that, and it's not obvious why. So this is a very weird outcome that looks kind of chaotic. It's very colorful, and it uses 69 Ti, it takes 420 cycles, it's a clean 1000 gold. The 2 triplex bonders both actually serve a purpose.
You mentioned to me in DMs that you were aiming for something genuinely chaotic when making this.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how easy that would be to do because the Burlow's wheel is the primary source of all the color and it repeats every 6. There might still be a way to make something with chaos, but I moved on to the other category after I got this one to somewhere I liked. So this does, I think each piece that gets output makes 3 laps around the whole machine. It gets rejected the first time and the second time, but it succeeds on the third. Also, it is only ever handled by 3 arms. All the other arms move it using ones. The piston that grabs things isn't actually ever going to grab an output. It grabs every second thing that comes past, and the ones that it doesn't grab are the ones that can become outputs, just as a fun fact.
I'm just impressed by how long it takes to get into the steady state and all the steps it has to do. Like, it has to make no less than 4 Burlow wheels on its own, conditionally, such that they'll just end up wanding and looping.
Yeah, and the two tri-arms at length 2 on the left and right they're doing the same thing, but it's a really cool thing, and it's kind of symmetric to do it in 2 places, so I really liked that. It's creating wands that pass off to the next wand in the chain before it gets the full loop. It's like the first thing it bonds to passes it off to the next wand before it makes the full cycle.
There's one TI record that the tri-arms remind me of. I think it's Stamina Potion. It was something that like Rebix did involving this kind of thing. I'm not sure how much wanding was necessarily involved, but this idea of just having it grabbed at 2 different points and having it chopped and changed with a simple pivot and rotate, and it just like ends up just coming into the Stamina Potion shape perfectly, almost by accident.
Amazing. I'll have to look at that. Oh yeah, one other thing to point out. I had it taking pretty much 69 Ti to do everything at one point, and then I found instruction savings. So I decided to spend those instructions grabbing and pivoting the fire at the top so that it got some love, and pumping the piston that holds an atom that's just next to the burler wheel doing nothing. Every atom gets a little bit of love.
I also adore the part where, because of the way that you've got it all looping, you cover up the input glyph, and it only gets to spawn a new input when you output something, so that there's nothing there at that moment.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's amazing.
That's another mathematical thing you can actually use to prove that it's like 3 loops around, because you watch that one that gets spawned in, and it is like a 3 rotation period before it actually gets to spawn the same thing in from that being output. Thank you. I'm glad that that's something you like.
You remember last year's Weeklies? I think the puzzle was vaporized propellant, and I made this shitpost that, like, at the time it was really cool and no one had seen anything like it, but now it's like most people could do it. This reminds me of that in a way. Not the wanding, but the...
Yeah,
like,
I had the idea it was that with wands. That was one of the things that occurred to me while I was building it.
because you get this really nice chaotic web of colors, and even though it's not like chaos in the way we think of it, it's like, it's so visually busy and entrancing. It's really nice. So I remember that vaporized propellant solve I made. People, like, the stream just collectively stared at it for like 5 straight minutes. Because it was a visually
How the
appealing
heck do
idea.
you get like, bonded air and salt with triplex bonds by just hex arms passing things around in an awful 15-like puzzle?
This is an awesome solve, Biggie. Personally, I think you've outdone yourself. But we do have quite a few more solves to move on to, so without further ado, we will move on to Cadspen. Bit of a contrast with Biggie's with just how orderly it looks.
I think, yeah, it's really cool that all of the salt is on one side and all the fire is on the other, but the input and output are the only things that disagree with that.
And they kind of take turns, like, spinning in their alternating directions kind of against each other to keep, like, a kind of symmetry happening.
Those 2 arms are overclock proof, but the others, uh-oh.
Oh yeah, this is modded Opus Magnum, which runs on an old version of Opus Magnum. Man, if someone had thought to submit an overclocked solve, that would have been very impressive.
I'm sure we have so many people here who are thinking about glitch abuse as soon as they're realizing they have the opportunity. Yeah, I guess you were mentioning the contrast against myself, and I'm just thinking how like I find an aesthetic to be lots of things happening at the same time, so that you have to like stare at each one like a giant Where's Waldo of complexity, and that's kind of why I love cycles machines, because they turn into that naturally. But that's not the only aesthetic, and this is another very clean one.
I definitely have my own, like, super abstract sense of what I consider an aesthetically pleasing solve, although mine's kind of more informed by my solving past and how I like certain movements looking elegant along with other certain movements. Not that I submitted anything particularly impressive for the aesthetic category this year, but like my ideal solve would be something like that, along with something like I don't know, something between that and something TI-ish. Just to, like, I don't know, I've always been kind of I've always been very interested in making solves that make people go, how the heck does this work? In whatever way I can achieve that.
Like, I would say Blood Stanching Powder and Surrender Flare TI records are one of those sort of like, oh wow, I adore looking at this because I've blown away that it works.
Yeah, right. Alright. Consult my thingy. Alright, next up we have Cuckoo52. I'm trying to remember, I think it was Cuckoo52 who won Aesthetics last year, so our defending Aesthetics champion. Probably zoom in just a touch.
Oh my.
I see the Critelli, I see the track loop. Oh, I love what this is doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the progression of around the edges. It's something that you need to set up, so this is why there's so many arm tracks.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Cuckoo52 is like the only player that knows how to do this kind of thing. I haven't seen anyone else ever experiment with it.
It's so cool. This looks really good, and it is a like circular conveyor belt for the things that the center is building. And eventually it's going to replace, oh yeah, it's overriding the input with, oh, this is very much like what mine did, like a feedback loop with colorful, only it's in this circle style, which is absolutely gorgeous.
And if we keep running it for long enough, the whole hexagon will just be like a really nice colorful loop because of that Van Berlo's wheel. I really like how it shuffles though.
How does it never mess up the products that it's building? Oh, it has the duplicator and calcifier stuff in the middle to make sure that some of its known fires always fix up the pieces it's building. So it never makes wrong outputs because it has some known fire.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, there is a bit of like conditional stuff happening with the actual outputting itself. The Arm 7 piston near the bottom that actually outputs. Just to top it off, just like another casual conditional.
Yeah, it has 3 different outputs that it could be making, and so it tries to make each.
Watch how the piston has to time its swings to avoid that thing swinging around on the big center mechanism.
Oh, you're right, it totally does.
I also think that the path that the arm that helped make all of the corners work takes, that long track that snakes down and sets up like a stand at the bottom, it really adds to the aesthetics. It's so pretty.
Because that ends up grabbing like one of the atoms. It's like the atom at the very start of the chain, and it grabs it like 2 or 3 times to like set it up just for the initial loop, and it's just like all so perfectly timed. It's amazing.
Yeah, it requires that little bit of startup work each time in order to get the actual rotations in the chain. Otherwise, it would just break. This is super well calibrated for aesthetic competition. Cuckoo52, you have outdone yourself.
This is actually amazing to watch. Alright. I do need to move on because we're already like 25 minutes in and we have not made it through many solves yet. We've started very impressively though. Alright, next up is Ebonnov with a similarly priced solve. Alright, so I posit this one as an early front runner for best Critelli.
It's a very compelling argument, yes.
I don't know, it's just like the starburst. Like, you have all the mechanisms exploding out of the Critelli.
This...
Oh, I love that communal swing from all the arms next to the Critelli.
This reminds me of the Half-Life 3 solve that I made years ago, where it's like this giant ring. Only this one's building and I'm building quintessence, so it's doing it very differently. But it definitely has that same sort of like a ring of colorful things passing off to each other. Does it have a lot of delay on the arms that build the input, or is it conditional so where it won't, or did it build the output?
I think the main arm that has a lot of delay on it is arm 8, which I think handles stuff conditionally, and arm 9, and 3.
I see. I was wondering if there was something that was like preventing it from working until the quintessence made it the full loop.
Yeah, I think it's for the initial burst, just to get some quintessence going to begin with. Because, yeah, I think after a certain point the Van Berle wheel stops activating. I could be wrong about that, but... Yeah, right, yeah, the Van Berle wheel just stops activating.
Oh, that's arm 3's doing. I think that's 3. I can't read it from. It's taking away where the arms are grabbing.
Arm 3 is the output.
Oh, it's the one on the track that's next to the.
Alright, arm 9. Yeah, that's one of the delayed arms.
Gotcha. Looked like a 3 because I cannot see.
That's fair. So yeah, effectively, these quintessence atoms will just keep going in a loop forever. But here, one of the fire atoms will just get plucked out for the output and replaced with a completely separate fire atom here that comes from the input, and the salt just never really sees the quintessence chain. And the Van Berle wheel is doomed to forever vibe in the corner. It's done its job. Alright, we shall continue to move on. Still looking very good. Next up, we have Gecko. We got a small self going. A little bit of a breather after the humongoids.
It's using the Van Verlo wheel conditionals to test a bunch of possible outputs. That's cute. It's cool that because of how it rotates, it gets pairs that are not the same color. It gets all the adjacent sides of the Brillo.
It's cute that it corrects the chirality in the end as well.
Right, yeah, it's essential that the first one is not correct.
I think that was the other kind of point of the premise of this puzzle, other than, oh look, it's a really cool, expensive sounding name, but it's an easy puzzle, haha. The other idea was, like, if you wanted the salt to appear fancy, you kind of have to make it in a fancy way, so it kind of lends itself to roundabout solving, I guess. Whether it be correcting chirality or sending it through like 6 glyphs of quintessence. Really makes you wonder about the philosophical idea of Icelandic lava salt. Is Icelandic lava salt really just normal table salt, or is Icelandic lava salt what we make of it? Is its value determined by how cool the solution that makes it is?
Icelandic lava salt is table salt, but where the tables come from Icelandic wood.
The other question I had was, if they're gonna call it Iceland, why is there lava? Just putting it out there.
I looked up a reasonable number of facts about Iceland as a part of researching this total monster of a puzzle. I learned that the population of Iceland is like 300,000, so it's like the size of the city I'm in, and much smaller than major US cities.
It's the size of the city that I'm in, and my city's usually described as like 4 towns strapped together. Just even the idea of just how small Iceland actually is. I love that you looked up Iceland facts for this stream though. Thank you very much. Alright. Moving on, alphabetically, we have Glass Lady. Congratulations, Glass Lady, for submitting the fastest solve of the day.
Heck yeah, Cycles is nice aesthetic.
I appreciate the arms alternating plus and minus as their first instruction.
That's a very
It's
nice
balanced.
correction.
It makes each person equally happy and angry.
I don't know. I kind of like the harmony of it, actually.
This solution demonstrates the proper way to consume Icelandic lava salt. Nom, nom, nom. Just two-fisting it into your mouth as fast as you can.
Your diet is always interesting. I remember you've described it in the past. It does not surprise me that 2 handfuls of salt is on the table.
Jason also mentioned in chat, Glass Lady has rejected Critelli like it should be.
There, I'll just leave it in the frame like that. I figured, owing to the subjective nature of this week's metrics, I will not tinker anyone's Critelli. I will swear off Critelli tinkering or tinkering of any sort because it seems especially important not to do that this week. But I will get the Cratelli in the frame. I can do that. Alright. Moving onward. I'm pretty sure I saw his name somewhere in the chat, so I am going to go ahead. It is Goodbye Galaxy, with one of the more expensive solves of the week.
That's a big cost. It's also
That
very
is-
fast.
You have to zoom all the way out to this one.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's got that, like, the spinny toys aesthetic.
My computer chugs a bit, but it can manage. It's probably worth actually looking at these individually.
Alternate title, Biblically Accurate Angels.
This one's really cool. I like this one. The Mexican wave aesthetic.
Yeah, I like that one as well. It's very cool.
Is that equilibrium where I think it is?
No. That is
That's
a good
a rejection of rejection.
It was a ruse. Oh, but where is it?
Oh wait, there's a few more.
He says Critelli is under his favorite one.
This one's really cool. This middle one might be my favorite one. Maybe it was Goodbye Galaxies. It was! There you go, picked it.
Nice, nicely spotted.
Yeah, that one gives me vibes of Mr. Puzzle's alcohol separation by hand. The arm is holding the other arms.
Oh, it does.
I like the pistons in the lower right, raising the roof there.
It's like cocking a shotgun.
The best part about this is we're spending so much time not even looking at the part that's solving the puzzle. It's all about the arms.
That's the boring part. I want to watch Van Berlo spin.
Now I want to make a mod where you have, like, you can have sounds, but like how loud it is depends on how close to the center of your screen is. So then, like, you could focus over each one and then be like cheerleading noises at the pistons, and then like somewhere else you'd have a different like crowd sound effect.
I think it's really interesting that this thing is all on a 4-cycle loop, given that so much of it is periodic in 6. But because it's kind of just looping, then you just put your 4 instructions on, and those 4 instructions loop it.
Yeah, like the one that's in the middle of the screen right now, like, there's no actual obligation for it to be a 6 loop, because the arms can just keep spinning. And last but possibly maybe least, the actual solving of the puzzle itself.
There's only one arm that's actually grabbing the inputs, and Zach's arm in the middle.
Yeah, right. If I get rid of the hex arm, and we just see what these arms do. That actually does look cool in and of itself.
It's the Sarlacc.
Is that like giant earthworm thing from Star Wars that comes up out of the ground?
Yes.
That is what that's called. Cool. I learned a thing today. Alright, this is
Well, man,
is
from
really
Star,
cool.
it doesn't come up out of the ground though, right? The giant worms that come up out of the ground, that's Dune. Star Wars is just like the big mouth in the sand.
Yeah, that's more accurate. It's like a sinkhole, and then it's at the bottom of the sinkhole, the mouth. Yeah. Although there is that one in that asteroid in Star Wars.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, there is the one in the asteroid.
Alright. That was a cool, like... What was that? A 9-part solution? Kind of like the cordoning off into 9 parts. It's like 9 cool solves in one. Alright, moving on. That person submitted for shitpost only, so we will move on to hallojasper. Who done gone submitted a big brick.
This looks overlappy. I see bonders and unbonders on the input. Oh, but it's a very good way of using overlap. That's pretty.
Alright, I'm gonna zoom back out, actually. I like that tiles.
Oh, and it does use finite area at infinity. It's just taking its time to keep a bunch of it around on the board.
Right, yeah, it alternates the cores, and that alternating core gets reflected in the fact that they can be outputted instead of needing a stupid waste chain.
Yeah, this is actually completely without duplication, managing to get the right ratios, which is hard on a puzzle like this.
Ah, that's genuinely super cool. The giant brick reminds me of Biggie. It reminds me of your aesthetic solve from last year. You had that like counting machine with these flare.
Yeah,
that flare.
that was a
waste chain.
quadratic slowdown thing. It was a little bit uglier. This reminds me of the input extraction method for the refined bronze and litharge separation overlap throughput solves, where you kind of rotate it a little bit extra each time to drop off the next one.
Oh man, you're actually right.
In a weird, perverse way. It's the same sort of being slower.
Really cool. Just kind of a singular, really cool idea executed very well. I commend you for that. Alright, moving on, we have Haxton.
Haxton said he used a ton of conduits.
This is not the conduit solve.
Conduits must be in the other one then.
Must be in the other one.
Using all of the like arm dodges in the middle.
I was wondering when we'd see triplex.
Oh, mine had triplex bonded Earths as just a side effect in one of the ones.
Oh, true.
I like though that it makes fully triplex bonded elements and then it uses those to make the quintessence.
Yeah, this dodge on the far left is really cool.
I commend him for getting this to work in only 8 height. That's a really difficult height solve.
That swinging of the triplex bonded pieces there kind of looks like a fan dance.
It does.
Sounds like a fan dance.
Oh, the order of the triplex bonded elements is different each time because the Vanbrilla wheel rotates 8 times. It'll always be the 3 elements that aren't fire, but it will be those 3 elements in a different order in 3 loops. But it has to be the 3 that aren't fire because the fire comes in as fire from the source.
That's a good catch, actually. Yeah, it'll do it in all 3. Yeah, it'll the start, middle, and end atoms will be like Earth will go at the beginning, middle, and end, and that is also true for the air and water.
Oh, Galaxy points out this is actually 9 height because of the fan dance tri-arm. Oh, it's 10 height because the other one below it also is 10 height. Oh well, it's still beautiful, but it is not. I mean, it's not the height that glyphs.
The height times cycle score of 1,190. Very useful information. I know. Alright. Well, aesthetic Haxton. Alright, next up we have Jason, who submitted to us the cheapest solve of the week. Oh, correcting chirality.
Excellent.
Has to first drop it on the output wrong just to confirm that all of this is in need of correction.
I actually like the whole idea of, like, anthropomorphizing the arms and giving them character in whatever way you can. It's actually not easy to do.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just imagine this one as Kif from Futurama, and every time it sets the salt on there and it doesn't get output correctly, it goes.
No, sir, we have to turn it back around.
I'm not sure how it manages to have an extra blank instruction at the end. Like, genuinely how?
Oh! That's a...
Oh, there's a second C instruction. Beautiful.
I like this.
That's some fantastic shitpost tech right there.
I was looking at the tape after he already pressed play, and I didn't notice it while it was instruction form, so I was like, I see no way that this actually ends up happening unless you're using a mod that lets you place the blank instruction. I forgot that C exists.
Yeah, when I mentioned people, when I recommended people submit spite solves to me to try and annoy me, everyone focused on the critally. No one thought to focus on the reset instruction, which I also hate. I'm genuinely impressed by the character of this solution with, like, what is such a simple premise. You got a lot out of it, honestly. Well done. Alright, next up is our most expensive... we've gone from the cheapest aesthetic solve to the most expensive aesthetic solve. And it is by kaliuresis. So, yeah, brace yourself.
Oh, goodness.
It's the Icelandic lava brain.
It's doing TI assembly. This is like the sort of thing you'd find out during Cooperate TI shenanigans.
Yeah, this is exactly like this is the exact train of thought that spawned like cuprite and blood stanching powder.
Wait, did he give himself 2 reagents?
He
Yeah,
did.
duplicated reagents probably so that you could have them meet in the middle.
I kind of like yeah. There's also a lot of overlap in the middle. Yeah, you get your own. You get a full shape here, almost exactly like how blood stanching powder would do it, in that it builds 2 halves simultaneously of just this gigantic hexagon thing. Which, if there was a puzzle with that exact shape, you would be absolutely laughing.
Is there a pivot, or are these arms doing the same thing on repeat? Because I'm struggling to see how it manages to build side links, basically. Like, how does it change its behavior
I
after
hit the
5?
pause button. I hit the stop button.
Oh, I guess it just has to make the full loop before it gets to do a 60-degree rotation. So this is a raw 6-eye idea that makes this.
It does,
This is
yeah,
really cool.
it actually just repeats. Take note of the multi-arms in the corners of the screen, vibing.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of track until this point, but then they started to rotate.
I like how the hexagons, like, still haven't collided to this point.
It looks like that has to be at the end. Okay. Oh, now it's doing a 1 thing. Nice.
Ah,
Oh, so pretty.
Leafage separation rate, you know, with just the
Annihilation.
input, yeah, eating everything.
oh, it is amazing. There's like some cheeky wanding in play there,
Yeah,
just
there
to
are a
make
few
sure
that
they all
dropped
go
off
in.
and picked back up. That's amazing. And with full track filling, because it's not like you have to put the hex arm on each piece of track, and that track is space filling. So cool.
You know what it kind of looked like as it was outputting? It was like that S that you drew in school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're talking aesthetic, like, this is art, people.
The real OG. Except not really, because this is expensive as hell.
This is started from the bottom, now we hear stuff.
And it has to do something with duplicators to make it so that whether it's fire salt or salt fire, it always will output properly. And it's so sneakily hidden underneath. Like, yeah, all of the ideas that go into this are really good ideas.
Man, the aesthetic game is really strong this year. Like, wow. Okay. If I can find their name. Next up is Madmaster. Alright, I do get to zoom in a bit, but not that much. Oh, I remember. This is a really cool solve as well.
I see wands. I see the name Möbius. Oh, is it gonna replace the conveyor? Or, like, upside down?
Alright, so now that it is output 6...
Whoa! Okay, okay. Same instructions, suddenly double the conveying rate. Oh, that's beautiful. And then it replaces the lava salt upside down. So after enough time goes by, you'll get it right side up again.
Yeah, and if we play it for long enough, the reason it's called Möbius strip is that the fire salt is flipped into salt fire and then flipped back, so it does like a full figure 8. in like a genuine Möbius strip fashion. And if we just go back to the start, I absolutely adore how this outputs exactly 6 by just changing the pacing a bit and having the strip be exactly long enough that it gives you 6 bonus ones to output. Cool.
So at the first feedback point, it gets 6 outputs and then establishes a rate 0. So cool.
And that's not even
Were
to
there
mention
triplets?
the actual movement involved in the conveyor belt itself, looking like a really cool snake.
Are there triplex spawn conditionals that only proc during specific portions of the overall cycle? I know that there were some triplex spawns here, but I'm not sure if they're using the conditionals.
There it is.
Okay, but they get broken again later, so they're not conditionals, they're just
No,
triplex last about a quarter of the time.
they just kind of reflect the fact that it's a Möbius strip, because it'll activate the triplex bundle will just fire off like, I think it's half the time. Or is it like a quarter of the time?
Yeah, it said a quarter in chat. And
Yeah, it is a quarter of the
he
time.
mentions it's just there to be annoying, no conditions.
I didn't think it was annoying at all, to be honest. I thought it was like a really cool, like, addition. Just like help emphasize the Möbius nature of the strip.
This doesn't look like it's using any overlap, which is also pretty nice. Being able
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
this
ones
is-
in without overlap.
Oh yeah, this is a legal solve.
Yeah. Mine was 2. I wanted to be... Oh, but this does have duplicate inputs. This does have duplicate inputs. You can see that it has
Oh.
2 stations over on the right that give the first one. So it's not self-loading.
That is true, but I think we can forgive it for that.
So yeah, it's still very, very cool. I love the conveyor belt. I love how the middle part starts out at 1 speed and successfully doubles without any like pitch.
You could
Also-
totally do it without duplicated inputs. It would just, you know, completely set a torch to the aesthetics of the entire solve and look terrible.
Exactly, he said in chat. I managed to get rid of overlap, but the duped inputs are still there to simplify the looks.
It's a bit of a funny story because Madmaster just sent me the he sent me a GIF of like the final Möbius conveyor and quizzed me on how exactly it outputs and if you only have the Möbius strip to work with, like I stared at it for like maybe 20-25 minutes, could not for the life of me work out backwards from the GIF how exactly it output.
That's really cool to hear.
So there's like another layer of presenting it like this that I find really cool, and that is the actual GIF presentation itself. Just it was like trying to figure out how it outputted was very much like trying to find Waldo and failing, in my case.
I do think that the constant motion aesthetic is one of my favorites. Like when I made the connect the dots solve that tried to pass things through as many ones as possible, but it didn't do any self-loading, so it was like, okay, well, I only get 4 cycles and I have to trim the GIF down to these 4 cycles, but there's a lot of setup on either side. This one being a looping solve is really cool.
Yeah, this is a super neat solve. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of struggling to pick a favorite, and we still got heaps of solves to go, so.
Are we picking favorites, or are we assigning each solve a number from like 1 to 10?
Sorry?
Are we picking favorites, or are we assigning each solve a number from 1 to 10?
I think we'll do it like we did last year, which I think was assigning numbers. We haven't actually set up the Survey Monkey webpage yet, so I'm gonna have to. If no one from the weekly committee is in chat right now, I'm gonna have to frantically do that after the stream. But I will get it. Hopefully, not too long after this stream is finished. Worst case scenario. All right. Next up, we have Mr. Puzzle.
Woohoo.
We have a nice, simple premise here. I haven't actually seen this one. Ah, that's cool.
The one waste fire to help correct chirality.
Elegance.
So every output is made from one fire from the next and one salt from the previous.
It should become evident I focused on shitpost this week.
I saw your shit posts. I did not understand your shit post. I need an adult for that shit post. I am looking forward to your explanation of that shit post.
Incidentally, that's the title of it. I need an adult.
That would be amazing. All right. Another neat, simple premise executed well though. Moving on, we have, if I can spot his name, not great. Multi-armed luxury TR plus. Try and get the zoom out right.
It is trackless rate. It is also making quintessence.
And it's not content to simply output once every 2 cycles. It needs to do the. It needs to make sure 2 of them get outputted on consecutive cycles, but maintaining ideal rate.
I love how tracklessness and like the TI thing has become a part of the Opus Magnum enjoyers aesthetic. The TI lovers of old really put it on the map for everyone else. I was a bandwagon TI main. I think it's mostly Rolandi and Grimmy who got there first. And
Username Void also did a lot at the beginning.
True, yeah, username Void at the beginning too. So honestly, I think Steven was the first person who's credited in my blog post about trackless instructions. For the
that sounds right.
proof of completeness with a weird like single arms grab, rotate, drop, funny solve.
It's funny, when TI was first a thing, I was completely uninterested in it. Thought, oh yeah, this is a metric, this is just another metric I'll be bad at and never care about. And then I did the Metal Chaos thing and then discovered the Black Magic stuff and I'm like, oh wait, this is actually a cool as shit metric.
Hey, sorry for coming on a bit late. But yes, hello.
I did myself.
I am one who made it. So yeah, thanks. Yeah, I don't know what you've already said, so I don't know what I should say about it. There are no single arms in there.
I think we were
I would
mostly
expect-
just dominating on TI in general. Sorry, cut you off.
I would expect nothing less from the multi-armed luxury TR plus.
Yeah, so TR plus, of course, being trackless rate and not really minimizing anything else.
I mean,
I love how there's so many
minimize-
different journeys being taken.
Sorry.
I guess three different journeys, but there are three very different journeys being taken for each of the output types.
Yep, that was the basic plan, was one doing just a normal rotate it, one doing the duplicate salt, and then one going through the quintessence. Well, two going through quintessence, because, you know, has to be doubled, but...
So one thing I found out while researching fulminating gold for not for Bisk's tournament puzzle but for the workshop one that I made a couple years prior was that there is no, you can't express it with a chemical equation because fulminating gold's not just like one molecule per se, it's like a few different groups of molecules just kind of meshed together in various proportions. I'm kind of imagining Icelandic lava salt to be in a similar boat, where it's like actually more of like a mixture of various like slightly different types of salts that end up tasting nice together.
Remember
That's
that one workshop puzzle called Steak? We should make sure that we test each of these salts by how well they solve that steak.
Can you imagine if someone had submitted like an Icelandic lava salt solve that like builds the steak and surrounds it with the salt? That'd be an amazing shitpost.
I considered trying to make other solutions to other puzzles and like plucking Icelandic lava salt off, but I came up with something different. Someone probably came up with every idea that I could have come up with.
I must say, there are a lot of ideas that I kind of wish I tried that went through my head after I had already committed to an idea. Alright. Moving on. We have Realience, who has titled his solution Magnum Opus. I am keen. I think it's the first time I've seen Moors all day.
True, yeah, Animismus makes its debut. There's a lot of party arms in this one. I love how many extra movements are happening just for the sake of trying to make extra things. Also, there are lots of different output types being made, including a triplex bond that gets broken and then reformed as a regular bond.
That Van Berlo wheel is very aggressive.
the triangle translations, just like did it.
It's like an angry Van Berlo's wheel. There's actually a lot to take in here. This is really cool.
This one places the purification and projection glyphs. I think the first one to do that.
You're getting the product delivered from both sides of the puzzle, so it's getting assembled in two different places.
Yeah, one of them using purification, one of them using projection.
Yeah, yes, one of them purification, one of them projection. Yup. It's done very well to incorporate pretty much every glyph, especially the metal glyphs. I don't know, it's like a really cool potpourri of glyphs.
For the solve that has it all. For the solve that has it all. Magnum Opus.
The amount of spinning around the pistons do very much tickles me as well. good criteria. Majority minus instructions. Very hard to find fault with this one. Oh, this is really cool. I'm finding a lot of stuff here that I'm enjoying. Thank you for submitting this, Realience. This is a really cool solve.
I found what they said in the weekly chat at one point. Like, I'm seeing what y'all are talking about, and I'm scared. I thought mine was going to be crazy. It's just all the different kinds of crazy people can be, and this is a very like breath of fresh air kind. After some of the like heady craziness some people put in.
It's kind of funny how it found like a sweet spot in the middle, where it's not crazy but not like small either. But I don't know. It's like it's a really nice amount of crazy. All right. Continuing onward, we have we're back up to we've gone full crazy again with SpiritualShampoo. Oh boy. Alright.
5,200 gold.
Alright, this one I have not seen. Oh, no.
The Weeklies Rewind, is it making each of the products from the Weeklies?
Oh my god. Alright, where does it start?
Oh.
Alright, it starts in the middle here. Alright, that one in the bottom right is definitely quintessential aerogel. And bottom left I see hot ice.
Nice. And it's building it in like this 5-height pseudo triangle.
Oh, and up top left here is ignition cord.
Oh, of course. And there's Servant's Wheel at one point too,
Yep.
yeah.
The servant's wheel up here. Oh, and we also
A suspiciously stable substance.
Yeah, that's the one that I was trying to get out of my mouth. Dave's
What is the thing
genuinely
being made from the Servant's Wheel?
awesome. Sorry.
I'm trying to figure out what's the thing being made out of Servant's Wheel, but maybe that's just outputs.
I think that's output. Yeah.
Yeah, it's covering the ones that it's reasonable to cover, and you can't make cuprate with no copper. So you can make hot ice, you can make ignition cord, suspiciously stable substance, quint aerogel, and Servant's Wheel. No
This
nightmare
might-
fuel.
Yeah, this might well be all of the ones that you can make without some kind of metal. I guess, except for, what do you call it? What was the first one called?
Sweeper rod, yeah, Mara called
Sweeper
that
rod,
one.
yeah.
There's just this huge triangle right in the middle, just waiting to be swept.
Oh yeah,
What's the instruction count of this? Because they said in chat that each of the products is made at period 40 except Servant's Wheel, which is made at period 48. Which sounds like then period 240 for the whole thing, which is a bit long, but maybe not that bad.
I can't actually tell you what the instruction count is. I probably should have programmed it as the supplement and also had that on screen, but I did not.
I promised mine was 69. I verified the fire.
Just as well yours had it in the title, eh? Yeah, no, this is, as you can see, this is clearly optimized for Omni height. I'm pretty sure triangle is one of the valid shapes for Omni height.
It's the lowest area shape for a specific Omni height.
Yeah. Also, for those of you playing Where's Wally, Hex is here in the bottom corner.
I really like how there are tracks outlining the shapes that are being built with, like, that's the product to it.
Oh, you're totally right. You can see the hot ice perfectly covering the tracks here.
Yeah, you gotta make sure it's not on glyphs, on the product glyph, quote unquote. There's like a really long track for ignition cord. There's an S track for suspiciously stable substance. There's the servant's wheel, which is a hexagon with a dot in the middle.
And there's quintessential air gel.
Oh yeah, and you can still put arms in the middle, but you have to leave the shape of the product unused. It has a lot to do with the output glyph because it's trying to not lose throughput. It's impressive how well it's coordinated. Spiritual Shampoo is getting good at this stuff.
Oh man, I love everything about that solve. Thank you, Spiritual Shampoo. That was... I mean, this is the only one called Weeklies Rewind 2022, so... I guess you could almost describe this as the canon rewind. You're probably grateful we didn't include a metal atom, because then you would have had to make all of them, and that would have been even more painful. Alright. Next up, though, we have Tulare. Welcome back to the Weeklies.
Cherries emoji.
I don't know if you can do cherries in the Twitch chat, but if you can, please, I encourage you to do so. Yeah. Alright, so Solve's called the Dancer and the Warrior here. So arm 1, likely the Dancer, arm 2, likely the Warrior. And the 3 arms at the bottom are the Oompa Loompas. Yep, definitely.
He's in voice chat. I'm waiting for him to say something about it, but he might not be present at this time.
No, I'm present at this time.
You letting us make our mistakes interpreting it?
So that they are Oompa Loompas, right? Definitely.
The 3 arms at the bottom are just kind of they're the nursemaids.
Oh, okay, all right.
See, the Dancer and the Warrior clasp hands in the morning. Then he goes off to defend the wall. They come back in the evening and they put the children to bed together. And you'll note that
a remarkable story for 5 arms.
The products are each made from 1 atom from each of them.
True,
You are
yeah.
right.
And they're held by a different atom each time.
I was talking about anthropomorphization of arms earlier, and I like the decision here to go with a more symbolic anthropomorphization, because that's kind of difficult in and of itself, because you need to you need to use your literature brain for that, and that's, you know, you really do have to come up with that from scratch the hard way. See, I may not be the best programmer in this community, but I like to think of myself as a bit of a storyteller, and this one I very much appreciate.
Yeah, I kind of thought that there would be a lot of solutions that looked very nice from people who had a lot more time to invest in it than I did. So I thought I would just tell a little story.
Ah, that's awesome. That is all it needed to be. Thank you for that. We very much appreciate your return to the weeklies, by the way, Tulare.
Yeah.
You are, after all, the only other person in the community who has the correct preference of no reset and minus instruction, so...
Which, by the way, incidentally, the absence of Critelli anywhere within the discernible solve here is a commentary on the brutality of war.
Oh! Oh! Oh, where did you even put it? Damn.
It's off in the abyss.
Damn, it is straight up way off screen.
Just delete all the parts, exit, come back in, and it'll center it back to where it was.
Alright.
But does that even help?
And now hit
Oh, okay, that's where it was. Right.
Oh, okay, yeah, that does help. I was thinking if it was like 20,000 tiles away, but then that would mean that for
Which would
such
be
a simple
hilarious.
solution, you had to do that much to get it there.
I'd be genuinely impressed. I was not expecting to be hit with the poignant rejection of Critelli, because the rejection of Critelli is a tragedy, and it is a somber tragedy, and it is beautifully reflected in this solve.
Probably wouldn't be that hard to get to a ridiculous number of distance by editing the
Yeah,
one
that's
of the
how
various
the
things.
cracks at the edge of the Opus Magnum universe finally solved it.
There's one. I mentioned there's a solve. I mentioned in the Weeklies chat that there is one solve in this stream that I definitely will not be able to run to completion, even if I wanted to.
Is it push it off the right, pick it back up when it loops back in from the left sort of thing?
Kinda. It's just a. It was just a. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it as anything other than a middle finger to my computer. But that's for the shitpost category. We're not there yet. Next up is wchpsh. Alright. The title is instructing me to turn the solution off. I mean the music off. Imagining a couple of people being genuinely appreciative that the music is now off. Zoom in one more time. Yeah, people always talk about percussion solve, but no one ever makes a percussion solve. So I'm curious about this one. Okay.
I love that it has a chance to build as the parts get filled.
Well, I'm curious, does it loop or is it just gonna not? Alright, yeah, it's just gonna not. I will say percussion tech is woefully underexplored, and I like this idea of having like a long ass stick, and like a single like track line, have it sweep across a number of triplex bonds, which I think I think that's cool percussion tech. Apologies for the lack of commentary, but this is a solve that kind of asks you to watch it with your ears. Ah.
I'm kind of curious because it's 6T. I just want to hear it played sped up.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, I love Nightcore.
Kind of has, when I speed it up, it kind of has the same. It kind of has the same tempo as that old Badger song from old YouTube.
Badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom.
Snake, it's a snake.
Oh man, that was, I don't know why, but that was kind of oddly suspenseful. Alright, we will move on, turn the music back on. Unless, I don't know, I'll turn an eye to chat, and if you guys want me to leave the music off, I'm happy to do that. But in the meantime, we have one more solve, and it is my solve. Oh man, I literally asked that question earlier in the stream.
I was gonna say, that's a familiar question.
Dude, I completely forgot I made that the solution title. I brought it up earlier, I legitimately was bringing it up, like, whoops.
Mora in chat, I totally should have made my solve in the shape of Iceland. I had the exact same thought, and then I had the exact same follow-up thought. No one knows what Iceland looks like. It's just kind of like a potato.
I also got, the idea was sent to me in DMs by Rubik, who unfortunately didn't have time to make it and submit, but that would have been their solve. That would have been her solve if she submitted.
I see kind of a chaos wand here, making its way around.
So
Oh, that's how it outputs. Beautiful.
So quite funnily, mine's the only aesthetic solve with a waist chain. I just thought the waist chain in and of itself looked chaotic, and I kind of liked the messiness.
You and I have very similar taste in just what we made and why we made it.
Yeah, I saw your solve, and I'm like, I came up with something very similar, and I don't know. Personally, I thought yours was better. So I'm a little sheepish about this one, but we went for different ideas. I didn't really have the wanding idea. I think mine was more centered around, like, because I like the idea of only outputting Icelandic lava salt if it's a fire salt that's just been, like, messed around with as much as possible. So I do, like, a lot of messing around with it and changing and chopping it and rebonding it and triplex, non-triplex. And it eventually gets there through, like, I try and feed it back into the chain and have, like, the other arms handle it conditionally.
Yeah, you even use the previous pipeline as ones. It's just slightly different in spirit.
It's okay if you feel sheepish, ZORFLAX. That's a very Icelandic feeling. There are 800,000 sheep in Iceland.
Yo!
They outnumber people 2.5 to 1. Each person gets 2.5 sheep. Make of that what you will.
Just saying, if the sheep ever decided to rise up against Iceland, you know, it wouldn't be a guaranteed win for the humans.
That situation would get quite woolly.
Yeah, I guess mine was just kind of predicated on sending the fire salt through as stressful and strenuous a journey as possible and filtering it only to the finest concoction of Icelandic fire salt, or lava salt. Yeah, that one. I know my expensive salts, what are you talking about? I'll try and get Prussian velvet salt to be a thing next year.
Does that one have metals in it?
I could make it have metals in it. Also, I will say one thing that I'm not sheepish about compared to Biggie's is that mine is 690 cost. Important
I was going to ask you
consideration.
how many instructions yours had.
It's something depressingly boring like 57.
Gotcha. I was going to try to make my area something cool, but I couldn't get it down to 300, and I didn't want to bloat it up to the next cool number, so I didn't.
Yeah, I settled on a cycle count of 750 because it was nice and round. The area tertiary, if I could get it to like 4,200, that would have been really cool, but that would have been really weird and random and difficult to pull off in a way that's not awkward. Alright. But that will do us for now. That'll do us for the aesthetic metric. As mentioned, after the stream, sometime, whenever we actually put it together, which is going to be pretty much ASAP once the stream ends, we'll have the Survey Monkey so that you can vote for your favorite solves, multiple, because we'll let you do like a multiple choice thing, and whoever you put as 1 will get the most votes, and whoever you put as like 10 or something will get 1 point, and then we'll go from there, and most points wins. That'll be how the other metric will also work. Speaking of the other metric, it is time for the shitposts. Okay, I hope you brought your serious face, because absolutely none of these will be joking, I promise you. No funny here.
You laugh, you lose challenge.
Oh no, I laughed in response to that comment. Oh no.
And ZORFLAX is gone.
Alright, last place. Nice.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Alright, now I'm allowed to laugh because I'm already out, so. Alright, starting once again with 42 Genius 42. This doesn't look too high.
Ah, nice. When I was thinking of one that you wouldn't be able to run to completion, it would just be move the thing on the right to the left and the thing on the left to the right, and use the fact that integer wraps around after 2 something billion.
Alright. We have Icelandic lava salt.
It traveled all the way to Iceland.
Pretty much.
I'm curious if there's a complete font, or if this is... I don't know. These letters are very good at being consistent with each other, and I don't know if you've created a font about it.
Yeah, I must say the writing is very nicely clear, actually. Now we just need the entire Darth Plagueis the Wise story all in, like, writing in a solve, and our lives will be complete.
Please, be movie script.
Damn, you beat me to it.
Got him.
Have you ever heard the tragedy of the bee whose wings were too small to lift its fat body off the ground?
It's not a tale you would hear often in engineering school.
It's not a tale the Hornets will tell you.
Nice.
Alright. Our next shitpost is courtesy of Alienate Me. Ultra-purified Icelandic lava salt. Oh, this is also the most expensive solution of the day. Alright.
This is sure a lot.
This is definitely a Alright. Let's get start. We're just gonna... Alright, so I can, if I wanted to run this one to completion. I'm not gonna, because it's 7,700 cycles. But I'll show you the idea, and then I'll show you the bottom, and we can just kind of suss it out. In fact, I can zoom in a bit, if we're focusing on this. Alright, so it doesn't always extend the wand, but it will extend the wand like 3 every... I think it'll extend the wand on average, like once every 2 attempts at triplex bonding.
It's getting 2 atoms each time there's salt on the Brillo, so it's 2 atoms for 3 attempts. Which is also leading to it being alternating regular and triplex bonds.
Right, yeah. Okay, and that'll just continue, and now I'm gonna have to do a lot of scrolling. Also, while I still have the opportunity, instead of a top 3 guesses this week, we'll do a guess who submitted the solve that will destroy my computer.
I don't even know. I've seen that Groomy submitted. I've seen that Haxton submitted something that required conduits. Neither of those seem like they're too ominous, but they might be. Also, I love that after that huge line of purifiers, it's literally just a simple debond.
I just assumed that Biggie made a tetration machine to produce Icelandic lava salt.
No, my next solve is actually going to be more understandable than my aesthetic solve.
Quick question for Haxton if you're in chat. Did you remember to tick your submission for the shitpost category as shitpost? So I don't actually have Haxton in the shitpost category, but I think it might be that solve. Alright, I think that's a bridge we'll cross when we get to Haxton alphabetically. Not there yet. Alright, so as you can see,
Jason in chat saying, if you select all and try to rotate, that'll crash your computer.
Alright. Alright, am I game? Sure, I'm game. Why did that bounce so much?
Boing.
That's incredible.
It's weird how it does that, yeah.
That's actually amazing.
I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that.
Right?
Somehow when I use Cheat Engine, it also wobbles really hard. I don't know what makes the decision on how much to wobble.
I would have guessed like 10 things before the satisfying wobble.
The easiest explanation I can think of is there's like a simulation of like a differential equation system that decides how fast to go at any given moment. And if you time step it normally, it's just a nice smooth rotate. But then when you get the time steps weird, it like oscillates funky. But that's just a wild guess.
Alright. With that though, yeah, I don't think we've got time for 7,700 cycles, so I'm gonna move on. Our next solve is Biggie's shitpost. Ah, nice. Fits perfectly on my screen.
Yeah, I did target the aspect ratio. I had a vision here. And I hope you get to see what that vision is. The track loop believes that it is purifying fires into a new fire and projecting fire using salt. And I didn't have the heart to tell it, just say, don't look what's happening, it's working.
Like other pistons also do like a victory like swell just to like rub it in that they know that it's not real purification.
But they had the decency to hide the disposal. Like the arms don't even know that it's there.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the track loop is concerned, they've discovered a new technique and they've used it to make Icelandic lava salt.
Headcanon. This is a cabinet. The pistons are the alchemist's hands reaching in, being like, "Don't, I'll get this stuff out of here." Don't worry.
Yeah, basically. It
Oh
was
my
meant
gosh,
to kind of
Maggie.
resemble a cabinet.
Your naive pistons are so cute, or your naive arms are so cute. I love them.
I like how they all look in the opposite direction as well. Like, all right, let the purification do its thing.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, that's the title. It only works when you're not looking.
Alright, yeah, I guess it's not a metal, so it'll take time to purify-ject. Alright, let's just wait it out. Oh, cool, it worked.
I had to calibrate how long it would take to give a really dramatic let go of the fires. I decided on 3 cycles of holding it in place before you let go.
Right, it like puts it back like super carefully, like it's afraid of dropping it.
Between this and my aesthetic solve, I want a new category where you just make solutions that tell stories. Because this is fantastic. I love it.
I'm smelling a new category next year. I'd love to make something like that. That would actually pique my interest. All right, next up on my shitpost list is Cadspen. That is definitely an area count.
Yes, it is. Where is the solve?
Oh,
Go.
I'm just gonna wait here until I see a stick, and then I'm gonna go to where the stick was.
Just wait for that stick to swoosh right in.
109 cycles and the area is going up so fast.
Press P, please. Oh, too late.
Oh, okay. Alright.
You know, Cadspen, the champion of sweeper rod.
That is a very fair point. I like how when I play the solution like this, the stick just kind of sneakily slides into your alchemy machine.
Oh, well, what's this?
Little snake.
You know, despite having a super high area count, this is the area count of the machine. It's not going to like bloat any further because it's outputting as fast as it's inputting.
Yeah, my computer's handling this one surprisingly well, actually. Oh man, I'm having a bunch of terrible meme ideas looking at this, where like the output contraption is like, I don't know, my DMs or something, and the stick is like you sliding into them.
I did one of those using Quantum Track a long time ago, is yoinking this meme, so.
That was a great one. Alright, continuing our shitpost escapade is Gecko.
And this is an area solve for something.
Well, I mean, we established Iceland's a pretty small country, right? Can't be too wasteful with your area.
Yeah, this is just pixel art Iceland.
Yay, we finally got the Iceland potato going.
I definitely sent ZORFLAX a like cropped boundary screenshot of Iceland so that I could try to shape it. And then he took like 5 days telling me the resolution of his screen, so I gave up.
Yeah, that was, it was actually 6 days. That was entirely my fault. 6, like, asked for the size of my max zoom out screen, and then I just, like, yeah, I'll do it later, and then I didn't do it later. Just completely escaped my mind. My bad.
Yeah, if you press 2, does this actually sweep area behind the Burlow wheel? Yes, it does. That, like, length 3 swing. Oh, it sweeps one over the input too. It's an area solve that is also kind of bad area solve.
I mean, if you're an area main, this is an area shitpost.
If you rotate it clockwise 60 degrees, it looks pretty much like Iceland.
Yeah, if I like...
Who's
Do
to say
that,
north
do
is the
that.
correct way to go up?
That's not a bad pixel art approximation of Iceland, that shape.
And the volcanoes are where the quintessence glyphs are.
Exactly, and the... yeah. And the disposal glyph, maybe.
The other day when I was playing GeoGuessr, I could tell that I was in Iceland. Usually you can tell because it's like, oh yeah, this is Reykjavik. But I saw that okay, this is Iceland, but I'm like surrounded by mountains. And so I clicked somewhere near the volcanoes and I got it, and I was happy it was like 20 miles away. Fun Iceland story.
Wow, you are a million times better than me at GeoGuessr.
I've played it for like 300 hours probably.
Oh, impressive. Alright. We move onward with our shitposts. Coming up next alphabetically is Glass Lady. Ooh, this is a nice, pretty looking solve, actually.
Yeah, she had submitted the cycle optimal aesthetic solve, but this one's also super aesthetic. Like, it's really pretty.
The triplex bonds are how you make it lava salt.
Yeah, that's where the lava comes in. It instills the lava within the triplex bonds. I am starting to question whether this was actually meant to be the aesthetic solve and the other was meant to be the shitpost solve.
I mean, if it's anything like me, they both felt like they could be both.
Well, the problem was that neither of them were ticked for the shitpost category, but I knew one was clearly supposed to be. I probably could have fixed that one with a bit more diligence, but I did just tick one of them going, I assume this is the shitpost one. So
For the monkey, we can get her input.
Yeah, my apologies, Glass Lady. I'm kind of happy to keep it like this if you are, with the metrics as is. But if you would like that flipped, I'm happy to reflect that in the survey. I really like because yeah, this is a genuinely pretty cascading metric, so, I mean, cascading idea.
It's like what Plinko is the name for the machines, where they just kind of like teeter their way down and then they land at the bottom.
That's exactly what this is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a Plinko.
And the triplex bond sounds is when the Plinko machine makes the Plinko noises. No, I think you're genuinely onto something with the Plinko thing. Alright, regardless, that was a really cool solve. Thank you for submitting, Glass Lady. Ugh, words. Alright. Next up is a person who was not so kind to my computer. Goodbye Galaxy with the second most expensive solve of the day.
Hey, under 10,000.
Alright. Now my computer will be able to run this, but it's pretty close. So it'll chug a lot towards the end. But this is the shitpost category, so I suspect that won't really hurt it. Alright, we have
Another
building
one that
momentum.
manages to get the 3 non-fires out of the burlow.
Alright, so the little fire atom was just barely saved from the mean, evil-looking disposal glyph. And here it will begin its journey.
Oh, it gets so much denser eventually. Wow.
Yeah,
I love that the whole thing is becoming quintessence, but it's pretty random whether it's what order. That's unification conditional.
Oh yeah, as long as the fire is the second column, it's fine. Second row even.
It's so cool that it's transporting the quintessence along the track.
Bit of a Factorio vibe, that actually. Alright. Still not there yet. Fire atom is still going.
And the pivot pistons.
The pivot piston. Alright, there is a duplicator at the bottom here, but it is just for show.
I'm glad that the fire didn't get calcified. My heart was breaking for a second. You've really gotten me invested in this fire atom.
We must protect the fire atom. It must make it to the product.
Is it going to join the annals of hero atoms like Earthiana Jones?
We watch it make it all the way to the end. A single fire, and all of the others are salt.
Like
The
I've
fire
seen-
just immediate, and then the fire just immediately bonds to a salt, outputted. Game over. No duplication, no nothing.
Oh, it makes it just in time to fix the chirality. I love it. That's a great ending.
And my computer barely makes it.
This is an emotional journey.
Yeah, that bit where it nearly got calcified kind of made my heart skip a beat, but it got it was able to find its way back to the pipeline, and it was the first one outputted. I don't know, I'm proud. I'm very proud personally. Alright. Hell of a shitpost though. That was a very high effort shitpost. Alright, next up is Grimmy. New solution 1.
Already a great start.
That's how you know.
The stats are very good. I got overlap here too, nice.
That's a fun track shape.
Alright. We're getting everything but fire.
The conditional is for when the grab is on fire, which takes time. Because it seems like it's rotating furlough
Alright, here we go.
awkward number of times.
Actually, it looks really cool when I fast forward it.
So how much it's going to make a quintessence. It's going to disperse that quintessence, immediately causing an output to form, and then there's going to be like a chaos that eventually crashes, maybe, among the other 5 arms. Also, wow, the the overlap duplicator makes it so the Brillo wheel is just flipping out that color on that one. Oh, and it's gonna rotate through the 4 colors, isn't it?
It's like a slot machine.
Alright, you're gonna need a couple more repetitions before that piston at the top actually grabs it.
I'm curious what is the... Yeah, it's gonna get all 4 colors. That's really cool.
Oh boy! Alright, I want to see this actually output some.
I mean, the output's gonna happen as soon as the quintessence pushes 3 to the left. Because then it'll just auto-proc the... What's it called? Dispersion glyph. I love running it at the speed that the Brillo wheel is like aliasing its turning. So you're getting the colors rapidly changing, but the actual rotation is slow.
Right, so essentially every quintessence that makes it to that dispersion glyph will just like auto output an Icelandic lava salt.
Yeah, and then I really want to see what happens to the other 5 arms start just chaosing. I imagine the solution will eventually crash, and I'm wondering how soon after 6 outputs.
It's like, I couldn't tell you where that salt waste chain came from either.
There are 5 atoms when you make 1 quintessence.
Oh, good.
The smoke from the disposal is aliasing too.
It totally is.
Oh, the snake of the atoms. So the amount of time it takes in between means that the next oh, it won't crash. It'll just stop making outputs because the unification's blocked by the snake. It's the Ouroboros.
Won't that eventually make the quintessence crash into itself? Because it's got nowhere to go?
Yeah, it would. It would still crash then.
Right, yeah, but it won't crash until after the snake chain is completely full. Alright, I'll let it run to one more product because I think it has clicked for us. I will say this is really cool.
This is a cheat engine solve, I think.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to hear this was like run on Faded or something. Alright, that was actually a really cool solve. We haven't seen much intense overlap tech yet, or until now, so that won't be the last we will see of intense overlap tech, but it is definitely intense overlap tech. Alright, next up is what I think was supposed to be Haxton's shitpost, so I'm just gonna download that solution file manually and throw it in.
Will it work to save edit in conduits into this version of the game?
This version of the game.
Or not this version of the game, I guess, because this version has the mods, but I guess this version of the puzzle. Or will they be auto-deleted or something? I'm not sure.
Conduits should work because I brought my shitpost solve into normal Opus Magnum and it ran the same.
Okay.
Okay, this is the conduit. Yeah, this is the one with the heaps of conduits.
Woohoo!
Can I zoom in again? Nah, I'll zoom out.
I love how after 3 they just don't have numbers. What is going on in the middle? It's like near miss after near miss. It's really cool.
Haxton did mention that throwing in a bunch of conduits really did simplify this, and I agree.
Yeah, check
I
out
would love
the.
to see a slow motion somehow.
Yeah, check out arm 1, which is the wheel arm in the exact middle with the Critelli hex.
Yeah, it's so many of those near misses.
And not to mention, like, the 6 arms that immediately surround it all have their own, like, extreme near misses when the, I don't know, the Mexican wave of atoms hits that particular arm's location.
The mechanism by which it's inputting and outputting is really, it ties it together very well.
I just love this middle bit. It looks like one of those, you know those, like, machines that do those, like, geometric swirly patterns?
Yeah, like a spirograph.
Yeah, spirograph, that's it, yeah. Looks like that. Alright, that was very hypnotic. I hope that was meant to be a shitpost. There was an intense use of overlap stuff, so I'm just gonna go ahead and assume it was. Alright, next up, this one is also definitely probably going to be a high effort shitpost, and it comes to us from kaliuresis. Arm and a few bonders. A few.
A few, huh?
This doesn't have any Iceland shape. Oh, this is another like trackless motif that just makes something funny. Or is it just a stick? I don't see anything that would unbond it, so this is just a stick. There is an unbonder, it's overlapped. Okay, I see.
The real fun part is trying to figure out where the output glyph is.
Well, I mean, now that there's so much overlapping unbonder, it's gonna do the whole, like, Cuckoo 52 loop around thing.
Right? It's like the TI version of the Cuckoo 52 wraparound.
Okay, yeah, it wands it so that it can make it itch and shape. And when that hitch makes it sufficiently far down, that'll become the next bend. Oh, this is so wild.
Right, yeah, you can kind of mark it by like that hitch, because eventually that hitch gets like corrected and the whole thing is like rotated, and that's right before you actually get the output. So I'll tab through it so you guys can see where the actual output glyph is. So yeah, right there.
Yeah, I saw assault for one loop of it, and then it stopped having assault. It's like, something happened. Oh yeah, product output. Okay. So what's the end result of this? Is it a 6 outputs and then it doesn't run anymore because the waste is looped in on itself?
Alright, so this is a really wonky waste stick that ends up happening here. So you can see right here, it just like barely doesn't collide with itself. So it's already.
I wonder though if the fact that there are so many bonders means that it'll just kind of emergently do something different after. Yeah, it's like the hitch stays instead of rotating. So this thing is building some enormous crystal.
See, this one didn't actually output salt properly because of the way it like kind of looped in on itself.
So this thing gets more complex.
So this one will, because that's like a loose Icelandic lava salt. And we just need one more, and we've got ourselves a solution. Okay, so there it is solved, and there's the waste stick ball that you get at the end. Right, if I let this run, it just immediately crashes.
Okay, that answers my question then. It does have enough beans for 6 outputs. It looks like it could have made 7, but 1 didn't get to happen.
Yeah, or 8 even. I don't know, I just love how it's perfectly calibrated so that it will make 6 and then immediately afterwards crash with like absolutely no instructional complexity. It's all just the sea of bonders and debonders. I do wonder how far you could take this if you just extended the sea of bonders and debonders.
It does seem pretty fundamental that it's building a waste stick that rotates, which then kind of limits you to 6 until something has to happen. And this one picks to do a something that could happen only once.
That is a good point. That is a legitimately impressive find though. That looked like a mighty pain in the ass to figure out. And I commend you for it, kaliuresis. Alright. Madmaster. I can't see the full solution title in my screen, but I'm sure you guys get the gist of it.
Oh dear. No, it's the Vaporeon meme.
This is definitely one of the movements of all time.
Are those molecules just flossing?
My favorite part is when Anatea started Fortnite games.
Oh no, why does it look like that? No!
Concordia walks in. The hell are you doing? Duh, 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 duh.
Alchemy moment.
It's been requested from Madmaster himself that you read the whole title.
Alright, give me a sec. A request is a request. Hey guys, did you know that in terms of human and alchemist breeding, Ignatius Vire is the most compatible alchemist? Not only is he a grad... That's where it cuts off, actually. I wonder.
You could open it and fire it to get the full string?
I actually would need to open it and fade it. It was requested, it was requested.
You could also just open it in Notepad.
Oh, that did work. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Alright. Screw it, I'm game. Alright, this is gonna be cursed, so
Victorian copy plus is like 4 paragraphs, I'm afraid.
Yeah, strap yourselves in. This is not gonna be very PG. Gonna warn you in advance. Let's see if it prematurely ends my Twitch career.
Oh, this is what's gonna get you banned from... Okay.
Hey guys, did you know that in terms of human and alchemist breeding, Ignatius Vire is the most compatible alchemist? Not only is he a graduate from the Imperial University, which is composed of the top alchemists, Ignatius is taller than Rivari and stronger than Van Berlo. This means he's large enough to handle human dicks. And with his ability to make unlimited stamina potions, you know he can do it for hours. Due to his use of lubricating filament and tonic of hydration, there's no doubt in my mind that sex with Ignatius would be incredibly wet. So wet that you could have sex with him for hours without getting sore. He can also make alcohol, vapor of levity, and mist of hallucination if you're into that sort of thing, so it'd be incredibly easy for him to get you in the mood. With his compounds like Explorer'S Salve and Hangover Cure, he can easily recover from fatigue with enough regents. No other alchemist comes close to this level of compatibility. Ignatius is light rally built for human dick. Ungodly stamina plus unlimited drugs and alcohol plus potions to help recover means he can take it all day, all shapes and sizes, and still come for more. Am I still on Twitch?
You are still on Twitch.
Oh, alright.
What a ride.
This is not what I meant when I asked for solutions that tell a story.
Tell a story. No, not that one.
Do we finally got our smutty fanfic? Does that count?
How does that not count?
Good. And done. Don't have to try it again.
Absolutely incredible. Is this DLC?
Still a better love story than Twilight.
Alright. I'm not going to pretend that wasn't amusing, but we do have other solves, believe it or not. This next one breaks my heart a little. It might, in fact, be more difficult to watch than that copy pasta was to read. It is by Morikonda. I'm not gonna pretend I like this one. That, I don't know what to tell you about that glyph of calcification, but,
Is it covering Fratelli?
Now ZORFLAX, don't get salty.
The arm goes plus first.
And there's reset instructions on multi-arms that do not need reset instructions. Oh wait, is the reset causing it to swing? Is it doing minus and then rotate, so that it also costs area? Oh no, it doesn't cost area. But it does cost needless rotates because they both have the rotation already. This is emotional damage.
I mean, the category was shitpost, I guess.
This gets a lot of points for being the most compact SPIDSOLV ever.
When she
I must
posted
say-
a smiley face in chat earlier,
What?
she had posted a smiley face in chat earlier in response to something, just like, yes.
Well, I will concede this is very well SPIDSOLVed. There is just, you've packed a lot. You've done a lot with 80 Gilda. I'll give you that much. All right. Continuing the decidedly shitpost mood that this stream has taken a turn for, we have a solution by Moore's Technologies. I don't know who correctly guessed that it was Moore's Technologies that would break my computer, but that's 14.5 million area if you can't be bothered counting the digits.
Oh my god.
Now, as the solution title suggests, I'm gonna have to scroll left for a while. I did try this beforehand. Something does
It's just
eventually
one
happen.
arm. It's just one arm with a lot of instructions and rotates.
That's not even a lot of instructions. It's just one arm.
So the output is 1,000,000 miles to the right with a single debonder.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume so. I'm guessing the output is handled by like overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, something will happen. There it is.
I'm
We
glad
don't-
that we were on this so that I could get the spoiler that something will happen.
What?
I have no stream delay when I'm in the voice call, so I'm looking on stream and like you said, there it is. And there's still like 3 seconds of scrolling to go.
I realize this. I realize I could have mentioned this earlier, but oh no.
That's
Yeah, that would do it.
That's the solve.
You might have a better time disabling collisions. That should disable most of the area counting. Which
You
should
raise a
take
good
up
point, but I'm not
But
doing
also-
all that scrolling a second time.
Yeah, understandable. Can you hit P though? I want to watch that area get shaved into the hex set. Consume.
Now I must say, we're already like 8,000 area deep, and my computer still isn't lagging at all.
Yeah, this is very efficient at making itself use area with the shortest stick you can. Like, it's filling the entire circle.
Alright, so I'm gonna start scrolling as hard as I can, which I did not know ruins the P. I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, I can't I guess I can do that. Actually, I don't need it anymore. Alright, so it's finally lagging at 32,000 area. Which is what, 1/500th of the amount of area that we need?
I don't doubt that someone with a good computer did truly verify this in game and not just write the metadata that suggests that the solve was solved.
I do wonder
But
how
I
the
imagine-
area was calculated, though. Was it just fade it? Would that do it?
Yeah, you could just put a bunch of numbers in to make it a completed solve, but then you'd have to submit it through the website, and it would say, "Oh, this does not match the stats," unless it wasn't going to care because this is this week.
I'm imagining 6 just like loading this into the website and just like leaving it running overnight, so it calculates all 14.5 million area.
Yeah, but when you click on Showcase, it doesn't do any calculations. It just says, yeah, good enough.
That is a very good point.
I know this because mine also had some kind of a crash when I tried to verify it and then clicked the button and it just let it go.
Alright, so we are in full slideshow territory. I'll keep going until this gets, I don't know, annoying, or we stop making progress. Alright, yeah, this is... Alright, we can now count this in seconds per cycle, so...
We're reaching explosive logic unit throughput levels of lag.
And we are not even 1/10 of the way through the cycles.
Oh, no.
Let's see if we can at least... Sorry.
Someone had to sit and verify this.
That's the part I'm impressed
Leaving it
about.
running overnight is not sitting there. Which is how I would assume it was verified.
Alright. If we can make it to like 1/10 of the cycle count, I'm happy. That's at what, 1/10 of the cycle count, 1/100th of the needed area.
Yeah. Or disabling collisions would make it ridiculously faster. So it may have been verified modded.
That's a good point. Actually, yeah, if I turned collisions off,
Well,
maybe...
the thing though is that if you disable the collisions, it'll disable the area counting, so it would verify with the wrong area.
True.
Also, the game will still lag if you have like, what was it we calculated? Like 2,000 atoms.
Oh, really? That low? I would have expected it to be in the tens or hundreds of thousands.
Well, because you gotta calculate all the movements, I think, is part of the issue.
I guess I can believe it.
There's like trig functions, and it's not like it's hyper optimized.
Alright, I think my computer is happy to tap out here. We're at about 1/10 of the cycle count, about 1/100th of the area count. And this is where my computer will admit defeat. Well done, Morse Technologies.
And about 1/100th of the output count.
Alright. With that though, next up is a shitpost that I am very curious to hear talked about, is Mr. Puzzles.
Ho ho ho. So, I'll start by saying this may be my Opus Magnum of solves to date, and I get to join the cool club of Turing complete alchemists.
Oh good god, this is a Turing machine.
Yep. So this is so the top left corner handles the data tape. The top right portion is generating the program tape, and then the middle is where we will process the program tape, and then at the bottom is a counter used for the seeking forward and backwards. The language in question is P'', which is the parent of brainfuck, it's the exact same language except there's no input and output commands. So there's only increment, decrement, go to the next address, go to the previous address, seek forward if the current cell is 0, seek backwards if the current cell is non-zero.
Real quick, where is the output glyph?
So, if you look, there is, so in the, so let me, see, look here. Okay, so, pause the tape for a second. Yeah, okay, so, ARM 10 is a length 1 arm. I think it's ARM 10. Let me zoom in here. Yeah, ARM 10 is a length 1 arm that reads the tape. It reads the tape off of the 2 atoms that are on the purifier that's pointing upwards. To the right of that purifier is where the outputs will be. And so it's already done 4 products. When the tape finishes to completion, when the program has successfully run, then it will output 2 more times. Or when the program is completely run, then it will start outputting products again. So yeah, ARM 10 is reading off the tape. The place where it is, it's deciding whether it is a seek, increment, or address instruction. And there's a bunch of logic to sort that out. If it is a seek, if it's one of the bracket instructions, then there is a, I guess I got my explanation all mixed around. There is, okay, in the bottom part, they're doing the process for seeking the tape forward and backwards. You see ARM 10 is manipulating a molecule at the moment. That 2-atom molecule is the mutex. Follow that around to see what components of the machine are actually in play. So like if it's reading so it just moved and is going through conduit 3. So it just started a seek forward or backward command.
Alright, so it's down here, right? The one that I'm looking at with my cursor?
Right. So, blue and salt, that means it's trying to seek backwards, except the current data cell was empty, so that means we need to continue going forward. So, no need to seek. We'll keep going.
Alright, so that's what it's doing when it grabs the molecule off ARM 10. It's running a seek command.
Right. When that molecule goes through conduit 3 into the bottom area, then that bottom area is the do I need to seek forward or backwards? And if I do, which direction? And then there's a counter for keeping track of how many brackets deep it's nested. Yeah, so we're seeking backwards right now. Oh, it encountered a left bracket, so it incremented that counter. But we're not done yet, so it'll keep going.
So what's it looking for exactly in the tape?
So the instruction mapping is fire something is a bracket, salt something is a increment or decrement, and then water something is move the data tape forward or backwards. And then fire is bigger in the, so then like fire would be a left bracket, fire would be a increment the address, salt fire would be increment the data cell.
What are you using to detect if it's salt versus water?
So there's a nice there's some nice ternary logic you can use with fire, salt, and water. So first off, if it's fire, triplex it away. That's the easy part. Then you have salt and water. Try to duplicate fire onto it. Water doesn't change. Salt becomes fire. Triplex what used to be salt away. And then whatever's left is water.
Got it. That makes sense.
You use the fire conditional to create the water conditional.
Oh, I took out my dog and I'm back, and this is something to come back to.
Biggie, you left at the wrong time.
That was the absolute worst moment to leave.
I'm sorry my dog didn't pick.
That's all right. I've joined the cool guy club of alchemists that are Turing complete.
So this is a real... Okay, yeah, wow, that's amazing. With quantum tracks to make it even snazzier.
Well, so the thing is that I tried implementing P prime back in like 2019, I think, but it was really hard because we barely had any overlap tech and quantum tech didn't exist, and I wasn't involved with the community either, and it was just difficult to get anything done with the project. But well, this time we've got modded Opus Magnum, and I can just create conduits and extra inputs and extra disposals and extra burlows and quantum tracks at willy-nilly. I can just plop glyphs on top of each other. I don't need to do the rotate glyph or trick. So it made it significantly easier to build this because I can just be like, oh man, it's going to be really hard to route this to somewhere else, huh? And I could be like, conduit, whatever. Quantum track all the way over there. Don't worry about it. It made it much easier to implement. But yeah.
So how do you represent numbers?
So this is a we haven't even looked at that part yet. Please go upwards and to the left, and let's take a look at the data tape. The short answer is
about this part.
short answer is we have a unary. Oh yeah, short answer is we have a unary implementation, but it looks like it's almost done. Oh yeah, we got like another 600 cycles to go. But yep, it's a unary representation. The number of fire atoms in the stack is how big the number is.
The quantum tracks just look so fun. Like, some of the motions, I love it. What's that lone arm in the data center doing that's like grabbing right now, but for a while is pivoting ungrab?
Arm 1 is for commenting purposes. So in the instruction tape, Arm 2, 3, and 4 are responsible for programming the program tape, because you need to put the fire and the water onto the salt that gets extruded out in the correct order. A weird thing about this machine is that you need to build the program tape in reverse, because I didn't feel like making a mechanism that automatically moved it all the way back to the front. But Arm 1, so every instruction on the tape, every brainfuck instruction on the tape is 2 cardinal atoms. It is made with a group of 3 instructions on the program tape of the solution. ARM 4 has 3 pluses for extruding out 2 salts. And then 2 and 3 are the burlows that do the fire and the water atom, or the fire and the water respectively.
So,
ARM 1,
sorry, very, very important question. Definitely worth cutting you off. Why is there 3 period overrides in a row?
So, to help load the program tape in faster and to move it over, I append instructions to the end of the brainfuck program that will not affect the computation, but lengthens the program tape so it's quicker to load the tape into the mechanism.
Oh.
So the instructions before it are kind of like I'm going to append this to your program no matter what, but I guarantee it's not going to affect what's on the tape, because the instructions it performs are so if you could move the program tape to back to the front, the snippet of code it appends to the end is move forward address, left bracket, move backward address, right bracket, increase, decrease. Because of the way that loop is set up, it is going to move you back. It'll move you backwards until you find an address that has a 0 in it, which is guaranteed to happen if your solution solves. Because if your program finishes, you've only used a finite amount of the tape. So you can eventually go backwards and find a 0. Then it'll add 1. Then it'll subtract 1. And then the tape will run out of program, and salt is interpreted as decreased by 1 as a weird side effect, but you're at an address where the cell is 0, so that doesn't matter. As a bonus, this shows you how to make the 6 different commands, and ARM 1's purpose is to help you with making the command. ARM 1 is purely for comment purposes. So minus and plus are the increase and decrease the data cell value. The the grab and drop commands are the left and right brackets respectively. And then the pivot clockwise is move forward an address, and pivot counterclockwise is move backward address.
This is so cool. That's also, really useful to be able to see like a header that teaches you how to program if you wanted to replace one of the instruction tapes.
And it's helpful for actually programming, because something that made me laugh is that, so I've had a lot of crashes obviously with trying to get this machine to work right, especially towards the end when I was getting all the finishing touches done. I was having some crashes in the data tape because I had atoms in places I wasn't expecting them at the time. But when I started programming the actual brainfuck program, I accidentally put in an infinite loop. So I messed up programming this machine, and I messed up programming the machine.
How is debugging on this sort of an architecture? It seems like it's not easy.
Well, it's P prime prime, the parent of brainfuck, so it's, I mean, running this architecture in general is terrible. Like, I was like, why isn't it program finishing? And I was like looking at it, and it's like, oh, it's getting in an infinite loop. It just keeps increasing the same address by 2, and then doesn't go anywhere. But I've stared at this long enough that I can look at the program tape and translate in my head which atom pairs are which instruction.
And you're telling me you didn't have time for the aesthetic category?
This is worth every minute he spent on it. This has me remembering that tetration was part of a challenge to build the slowest machine that could fit on one screen. I wonder if using quantum tracks, conduits, and overlap, it would be more possible to build something like compact and effective for that. Although the programming wouldn't fit on the screen if it's doing something like this, because the instruction tape has to be loaded in that way.
The only thing I could think of, so like you have to fit in, if you had to fit in the screen, both in the tape and the actual area, I think the best chance you might have is getting really quick creative with the quantum track and also using tons of conduits, because you can do an awful lot of conduit drop conditionals. So then where something gets set very much depends on where you dropped it and on what orientation.
Would there be a use in computation for conduit cloning?
Source of atoms. Oh, that's... I was just about to say, no, not really, but isn't there that weird bug where cloned salt likes cardinal duplicate together or something?
Yeah, you can do spooky duplication at a distance.
Oh. So because if that works both ways, then you have a lot faster way of transferring information. You don't even need to send atoms through a conduit, because you can just duplicate one atom and it instantly changes the other one. Wait a minute, that would let you make a screen, right? Oh
no.
I have to learn more about what works when they're not over the conduit, but yes, if that's true, you could make a display.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah. Now we're thinking big brain.
Alright. On that revolutionary note, I am unfortunately going to have to move on. I'm sorry. We could talk about this one for the next 15 minutes, but we do have other solves, unfortunately.
Yep.
Now for the question of who the poor bastard is who has to follow that up. Not great.
Yeah, mine is definitely nothing compared to that.
Oh, I'm so sorry you had to follow that.
Yeah, mine is mostly just a, that's funny kind of thing, rather than an actual, this is an insane thing. Basically, it is noting that you can grab an input from when it's overlapped on top of the output, but only on the very first cycle.
Huh.
And all of the other grabs fail. And also, of course, just using a burlo to suppress is a thing that you can do.
I actually did not know that at all.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh, I was just saying I did not know that at all, about this. You can only grab on cycle one thing.
To be honest, what I wanted to do is I wanted to do a funny thing with the piston grabbing and then doing some weird stuff to interrupt in the middle of it, and that's when I found this out, that, it does not actually grab, and it only grabs on the first cycle.
Does the input blocking give this a weird rate, or is it just like a still fairly normal looking rate?
I did not check, but I would assume that it's reasonably normal.
Oh, possibly, yeah. Let's see. I'm just counting the hexes of track here.
It's not a perfect multiple, so
It's
but
like
close
19
enough.
hexes of track, and it does 3 movements.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit weird, but it's not an irrational salt or anything.
Right, yeah, no, that would be amazing. That would be incredible if you get an irrational rate through something like that. I'll leave the rate calculation as an exercise for the viewer. Alright, next up is Pentapig. Now,
That's the first I've heard of him in the weeklies at all.
if I'm remembering correctly, he submitted for Sweeper Rod, and that was it. Now, after what we just saw from Mr. Puzzle, you might be wondering, what kind of madness, what kind of insane fourth dimensional genius did Pentapig concoct here? What masterpiece has he given to us as he graces the Weeklies with his presence once more?
Is it 3-cycle 2 area overlap? It's that, but with extra equilibrium. Just the way you were setting it up, I had a feeling it was this. Oh, but it's 6 cycles, not 3.
Because it has to correct
'cause
chirality.
But how is there any glyph acting which wouldn't act the second time? There's not a consuming. Like, I literally don't understand why it wouldn't be 3 cycles in every possible way.
Just a bad glyph order, probably. It could be like the calcifier and the duplicator in the wrong order. So, like on the first half cycle, you can only get up to the calcify step, and then on the right. So duplicate, debond, triplex, calcify, bond.
Oh, there are more glyphs here than I anticipated.
Debond, triplex, calcify, that output. So yeah, yeah, so the problem is it'll triplex at the end of the first half cycle. And so then you've got fire, triplex, salt.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Half a cycle later, it fixes that somehow because it doesn't triplex because it's 2 salts at that time. It's
Right,
not 2 fire at that time.
right. The second time one of them is salt, so then it can't triplex anymore.
So it's an intentionally bad glyph order. It has to be, otherwise he wouldn't have done it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's an intentionally bad glyph order.
It also hides the triplex with the equilibrium. Absolute cheeky.
This is actually a very cheeky piece of overlap tech. I'm guessing the deliberately bad glyph ordering is referenced in the solution title being OC, which is a double entendre.
Yeah, my original creation, overlap cycles.
And at least one of them is ironic, because, yeah, it's not overlap cycles. So I did sass on it, because I did think it was funny that, like, one of our best players ended up submitting, like, a genuine shitpost, and it was really cool and humbling to see. But this is actually genuinely clever. Alright. We've got a few more solves left. We're nearly there. Next up is Realience. And this one definitely is a shitpost.
Oh, another min cycles.
Oh, there you go. We
It's
did have an insight.
similar to Glass Ladies, except it's using piston.
So yeah, this is not quite the cheapest solve submitted because that was pen and pigs, but it is the fastest and the smallest of the shitposts that were submitted, and it was nearly also the cheapest. Same cost as that solution that Morikonda submitted. Alright. This is good. I feel like we're easing ourselves back into normal shitpost territory as opposed to like masterpiece territory. I do appreciate the submissions though. I was like, I was trying to find a way to like subtly encourage people to just submit, even if it's like really low effort. Just like the submission is good and valid, and every solve is valid, and we've got great submission numbers this week, and I'm really happy about that. All right, moving on though. We have a look at SpiritualShampoo. Uh-oh.
Another cycle optimal solution.
Biggie, you are being spoiled.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, multiple min cycle solutions. I mean, as an area main, you don't get to see min cycle solutions very often. You're seeing two in a row.
Yeah, faster than my pace, to be clear.
I keep saying it was a difficult puzzle. I mean, not an easy cycles puzzle. And as you can see, this being period 4 is optimal in terms of instructions, and there is nothing else to question. Because yeah, that's how you do CI, right?
This is like the invisible ink solve that was not visible underneath the arms.
I was thinking that as well. I felt it though. That is a genuine CI moment. All right, continuing on through our shit posts, we have one from Tulare, and we're back into interesting digits territory.
The area count is quite high.
Alright, solution title is 5 and 6 are co-prime. That probably has a lot to do with the Van Berlo wheel.
Right, yeah. It's moving on the track and rotating, so it takes 30 full... Oh man, it's gonna build so much waste before it actually makes outputs. The success condition is that there's fire on the left of the two salts. That takes... Okay, yeah, that takes a while.
Yeah, there it goes. And rather interestingly, we're only at like 1500 area, and my computer is already chopping a bit.
It's because the amount of thing that is rotating is long, and that's the chug. Even if the area it's sweeping is lower because it's not taking up all 6 quadrants. Sexton.
Does it also have something to do with the shape of the waste chain, or is that just incidental?
I don't think it has anything to do with the shape of the waste chain. It's just the radius in the metric of like x plus y, I guess.
Right.
That determines how much work it has to do when it rotates. Maybe this is the most effective way to reach a really high radius quickly, or maybe it's a straight line and I'm not sure.
You'll also note that it's throwing away all of the fire from the original product.
Oh.
Good point. Those are the ones. If they cannot get the right lava salt, there's no reason.
Well, I mean, you can't just make normal ass stupid salt. It needs to be Icelandic lava salt. There needs to be a, you know, a process. You can't just use the fires from the input. That would be madness.
I
They
like
do serve a very important purpose. You know, they're over there on the triplex pond here making sure that I pick the right product up.
This is horrible. Good job. Oh, I just realized another thing that's horrible is that thing on the right is a piston and it never pistons. Good job.
Oh my god, sorry, because it's on a track, that would be the piston movement. In fact, none of the pistons piston.
I only noticed it for the one handling waste, but it's true for all of them. They could do all of their work without it, and they choose to not piston. Good design decisions.
It'd be nice if I had that, if I had the ability to, like, let my Twitch chat use the XBPGH alright emoji. Love that emoji.
Also, the position of Critelli here is a reflection on the brutality of war.
Oh, very much so, yeah. Yeah, it never quite gets clipped by the width chain. Alright. This was actually, I'm noticing we're seeing a few of these where it just like, it looks like a shitpost, but then it's like, you dive into it and there are subtleties to just how shit the shitpost is, and that is the sign of a good shitpost. What I'm trying to say here is well shitposted.
Thank you very much.
Alright. We've got 2 to go. The first one is wchpsh, whose solution metrics are also cursed. But he mentions its efficiency in the title, so I guess that means it must be efficient.
It's so efficient that it bothered to say the word efficient an inefficient number of times.
Redundancies are efficient though, right? Yeah? This looks efficient.
I like the triplex stacks.
There's actually a lot about this that looks cool. Especially because, as we know, it's all efficient.
We've got animismus.
Oh, we have a lot of animismus.
That's the efficiency secret sauce right there.
What was that one puzzle in the Weeklies which I kept insisting on everyone using, animismus, but no one did? It was Ignition Cord, that's right. Because Relami chose to include the animismus glyph.
I love that it uses the fact that Moors eventually suppresses animismus proccing to prevent the animismus outputs from causing problems. They like just barely don't crash into other machinery.
Alright, and these rest, they just get waste. No, they don't just get waste changed. They do get sweeper rodded.
They get bricked into the fully bonded triplex girder.
How could it be inefficient if it's making so many pretty triplex noises? That means if you constantly hear triplex noises, your solution is working a lot.
Before you can make the salt, you must first make the salt crystal. It all is clear.
I love that there's an arm in the position to rotate input to output over the Critelli, and it just always misses.
That's the loser's cop-out way of making a solve efficient, Biggie.
I mean, ouch, but fair. Oh cool, it makes quintessence. I was worried for a second.
It makes quintessence out of one piece from each of those triplets and is throwing away the other two.
It also hasn't made an output even though it's dispersed some quintessence. It's waiting until like the piston pushing going on finishes. And then the arm that misses will eventually swing through the input to deliver the output. It did it. It did it.
Alright, we can see it again. One more quintessence. Yay!
Truly Stephen Core.
For a moment, the output is on the input clip.
Yeah, I mean, the arm was missing the previous times, but that time it got a direct hit.
I mean, it was always able to output, it just needed a little help, you know? That's the true efficiency. I like how Arm 3 is just like strafing back and forth along that track just to dodge and look cool doing it. I'm quite surprised that chugged my computer actually, because it's so efficient. I don't know why my computer's struggling with it. It must be a shit computer. Also, there's no actual action. It's just like...
Yeah. I was gonna say, I bet your computer couldn't even simulate 14.5 million areas of sweeping.
Oh my god, that would be so embarrassing. Could you imagine?
That's the point when I left to go take the dog out, and then I didn't realize that shortly afterwards was Mr. Puzzle.
Oh, I wasn't actually... Do you think I was actually gonna try and play it to completion?
No, but I didn't know how long you were gonna spend doing it, and I thought, okay, well, my dog's asking, I should take her now.
Oh, okay, alright. That is pretty unfortunate. Well, the good news, Biggie, you are here just in time for my solve. Which, of course, it's the last solve of the day, so you know it's the best one. Oh hey, look at that crate. Hey guys, I think I found the Critelli. Nice.
Arrows from every direction.
Oh yeah, that's we don't have to worry about solve. That isn't. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I'm just gonna look at that for a while.
It's doing the coup rate, but it's only doing half of coup rate, so it's only solving Icelandic lava salt. which is half the puzzle that Coupe was.
You're right, actually. Just gonna look at that for a bit longer. While I,
What's over to the right to make it open the puzzle on this point instead of centered? Or is there nothing on the right?
There's nothing on the right. Alright, so I kind of completely fucked up the presentation. The idea was to zoom in, so it's like that, and I could quickly be like, oh wait, here's the solve. I wonder where the CHRAUNSALT is. Let's find it. And then, oh wait, look, there it is. That was kind of... I should have zoomed in before I opened my solve up. But, alright. We can leave
the
it
plating
on that.
was a little bit of a miss, but the meal was delicious.
Wouldn't be a shit post if I got the presentation right anyway. Alright. And that just about does it for the weeklies this year. So with the so I don't think anyone from the weeklies chat is here at the moment, unless Haxton is still here. But if not, I will log off and like frantically make that survey and put it in the weeklies chat. We'll probably give you about a week to vote, and we'll announce the winners through the weekly chat. As for me, I will actually be doing one more stream this year. It won't be an Opus Magnum stream. So yesterday I got a message from a developer of one of the ZAC-likes that get featured on the Zactronics channel. The game is called Hexahedra, and there is a demo which I will be trying out on stream with the developer. The developer thinks I'll be able to smash it out in 3 to 4 hours. He better hope there's no like genuine programming in the game, or he will eat those words. Oh yeah, no, sorry.
It's a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, we also have the actual metric records. We can do that after this. So yeah, so that will actually be my last stream of the year. It'll be for me, it'll be like Wednesday morning. So like imagine this time slot, but a couple of hours earlier, but on Wednesday. After that, I'll probably be done with streaming for the year and stuff, and we'll focus on, I don't know, some records or something. Alright, yeah, sorry, we do have a few more things to go through though. So username Void, who didn't actually submit for the shitpost category itself, sent me a list of the actual like metric records. Just so we're all clear on what the actual metric records. So this kind of counts as the genuine showcase of the day.
My speed solve was also a min gold, but not min area. It was a single arm. It was placed in a position that let me do it fast.
Alright, let me just copy and paste. Okay. Alright, so these are all username void. We'll go through them, and I will zoom way in, because we won't need anything fancy here, because, yeah, the puzzle itself actually is quite easy. So I think
this uses
have
the other CA solve that we received, because this one uses reset instructions.
Yeah, true. Is it really the CA record?
Alright, and SpiritualShampoo points out this can be out burritoed in weeks, which is exactly this solve, which is just burrito better than the CA solve.
Alright. And this is a puzzle that you can solve in min cycles and min width at the same time. There's also a height solve. You can do min cycles at min width, but you can't do it at min height.
Yeah, this is basically the same as Genius 42's very first solve we saw. It's the exact same, but used piston instead.
Yeah, I think Alien Amy also submitted min height.
Yeah, but Alien Amy's min height was overlap. It used
True.
overlap to do the chirality correction. It's amazing that CX wants to use one piston and one track on an arm.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think username void said CX was the most interesting category.
Tessellation throughput would be interesting. Maybe. Probably
Maybe?
not.
There isn't a way to do min cycles with less than 8 instructions, is there? With like a hex arm that doesn't reset?
Not with only 2 arms. You would need a 3rd arm because one of them would be like a hex arm rotating, and then you'd need 2 arms to support the other side of that pipeline.
And once you introduce the 3rd arm, you're not getting under 8. Unless you do, like,
Exactly.
weird wanding shit, and that's obviously not going to be helpful here.
There might be a 7i. I'll open up the game and see if I can find it.
Appreciated. Alright, area mains rejoice. We did finally get a 5 area solve. We never got a min area solve throughout that whole time. We did finally get one. Alright, so interestingly, we have 3 different instruction solves. So that was IA. That was IC. And IG.
True, they are all distinct.
For what it's worth, they are in fact all distinct. Alright, most people were here doing shit posts and pretty souls, but username void was content with just filling out what appears to be most of the Pareto frontier. Or maybe I shouldn't say most of it, or Grimmy will make me eat my words.
There's not a 7i because there's a rogue grab.
Right.
You can't have 2 hex arms because the one that drops will grab the one that's not yet output.
Alright, there we go. That one wasn't loading for some reason. So yeah, alright. Some mains rejoice. We also have a distinct some solve. And finally, the overlap solve. That was hinted at. It's just the stab water overlap solve. But you don't even, like, need a bonder this time.
This is the first 0G I've seen. Some overlap is 5.
Alright. That will do us for the stream. Alright, that was the longest weekly stream of the year. I'm quite impressed. Alright, when I upload this to YouTube, I'll put like timestamps for like everyone's solve so that you can like consult the video and go through to see which, like, compare which solves. Good luck trying to vote for which one your favorite one is. I have no idea what I'm going to vote. Looking forward to seeing what people do end up voting. Other than that, yeah. I'll be here again next Wednesday morning. But if you're not going to be free, because it's a weekday or something, then thank you for joining me for the weeklies this year. Absolutely gigantic shout out to Haxton and Panic and Best and Steven. I think like Haxton alone probably did as much work on the weeklies this year as I did, and Panic is like absolutely invaluable as always. We didn't get around to doing Best's puzzle this year, but I don't know, maybe next year. Never say never. And Steven is always great to have around when he occasionally chimes in. Well, I'll try and get a puzzle out of him one day. Until then, thank you for joining. It has been my pleasure to host these.
It's been awesome. Thank you so much for keeping the weeklies alive.
No problemo. If I have to do it next year, I damn well will. Alright. Catch is round.
Thanks for a great stream.
And see ya in the tournament this winter, maybe. Any news on that?
Oh, I actually don't have any news on the tournament. But, yeah. If you're looking for big Opus Magnum events, it'll be the tournament next year.